Hey everybody, it's Axel Grave with Comiconvos, as well as many other things, as you know. And I'm here with the first of a many-part series, I guess, that's going to be launched out in pretty rapid succession. I'm doing a spoiler review, episode by episode, reacting to Iron Fist Season 2. I just finished, literally less than 20-30 minutes ago, I finished Episode 1. And I'm literally going to do one of these after every episode and do a real quick spoiler recap episode and evaluation as in progress, as opposed to at the end. I'm going to do a critical and fan. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to call this Harcore Casuals, and we're going to do kind of hardcore comparisons on stuff and like try to really get down to the brass tacks of it. Okay, so we come in basically on Danny, right? I guess not on Danny, but on Danny as in the scene. And the scene itself actually starts on some guys driving a truck, blah blah, the Asian guys, triad war stuff, they kill him, stealing the truck for whatever reason, still to be explained. Danny shows up, stands in front of the truck, badass, got his little mask. And then they don't stop, so he sidesteps the truck and just like punches the freaking motor out of the side of this. And I guess it's more of a van bus kind of thing than it is a truck, but you know what? It's awesome. Awesome. The choreography is still a little somewhat slow and such, but I think it feels a little better. The fist is used more. The effects for the fist are used more. You get a real big that opening scene that you see in the credits or whatever, where he blows the street up. That's the first episode right away. And you get to see him use it more as time goes on. So then he goes home, takes like some food to Colleen or whatever. Obligatory, scene where they're like, all right, this is what we're doing now. Then we go on from there. See Danny where he's working, like out in the city, helping on this moving company, talking to another gentleman that I can't quite remember his name, but he is part of the city. And they're talking about Colleen and how that guy wants to be with Colleen. He's like, yeah, your girlfriend's my future wife. But it's just a funny joke, good banner. And they meet this random lady on the street, but she gives off this like crazy vibe, and Dan, she's like all over Danny because come on, he's the main character. Even the other guy's like, come on, some of us starve while others are feasting. Dogs, it's just crazy. And he's like, hey man, I was just being nice. He's like, no, you were being gallant. Yeah, I feel like they have some good dialogue discourse. Danny is less of the pompous Iron Fist, that he was in the first. So we move on from there. We see a little more Colleen. She gets this backstory of like finding her family crest and this donation thing, and she's like, "Whoa, wait, this is my family crest." And you kind of got to remember that from the first season. She talks about her sword. I didn't. She had to remind me later in the episode. But she goes to try to figure out who that was, and then ends up at this restaurant and saves this old guy from some punk young kids trying to be triads. And man, they run off because she's like, "Oh, I'll call the cops, get the hell out of here." She could have beat them all up, but she's like, yeah, whatever. And then she's looking for the guy who donated the family heirloom, and the guy's like, I don't know, not here, not related to me, blah, blah, blah. Leaves, goes in his restaurant, he's out. She's like, alright, I guess I'm off. And then, Danny has to go and do Rand Industry stuff with Ward, and they end up having to do it with Joyce, actually. There's a meeting where she like tries to get him to buy him out, and there's this whole like spat between Ward and Joyce, typical. And then Danny's like trying to be nice, like, yeah, and I should not have read the description on Netflix, man, because it's like they take, as they try to take over him, like, oh god damn it, they ruined it in the description. I'm already ruining stuff, so it's like they're trying to take over his company, and so part of Joyce's buyout, I guess, is like these options and stuff, and she's gonna somehow take over the industry or buy it out or whatever. She's gonna get a hold of Rand Industries, I'm pretty sure, and I'm predicting that now. Episode 1 post. Yeah, and there's a big reason for that. Davos, he is back. He's badder than ever. I don't know, he might be better. He's like doing some deals with like the triads who run the wharf and trying to get some deal pushed through, and he had like the secret partner who you later learn is Joyce, although you can kind of figure it out. Following this, Danny and Colleen regroup at home, after their days, and they kind of talk about what's going on and about past stuff, But eventually they decide to go to the restaurant and have some food and just talk to the guy and see what he knows maybe. When they show up, start eating, and the punks from the triad come back and start like attacking the place and threatening people, like pretty serious threatening. Like, you really see these kids, they're actually doing some good acting in this, I gotta say. They actually feel like they're gonna hurt these people, which is good. That's how it should feel. Everything should be fluid and natural. I shouldn't notice stuff going on. But yeah, I thought there was some good background. And then the other triads show up, so Danny and Colleen. Colleen fights the kids, Danny fights the other triads, and they end up squabbing it out down to nothing, for which the grateful owner's like, yeah, okay, that guy is my cousin. He's hiding from the triads because he owes them money. We all owe him money. We're all down here, you know, in the dumps and stuff. And he's like, wow. Anyway, Danny goes out, runs into Davos. They have this whole big, like, reconciliation, small little fight thing where they're just like, yeah, this is how it happened. You know, you became the Iron Fist because my father. And then Danny's like, no, if you really think that, but like, look, this is the proof. I'm the Iron Fist. This is what my choice was. Like, where were you when Kunlun was destroyed? Because obviously the whole thing with the hand and the defenders and Kunlun being destroyed. Obviously, like, this is a whole spoiler thing. Remember, hardcore. But all around, I think it fit really well to the character of Danny in this one. Like, man, he's playing such a good, like, kind of. Danny was like, no, I'm just trying to be out in the world, doing good, protecting the city. Screw the money, screw everything else. It's really just about being Iron Fist. I mean, as far as classic villains and stuff, not so much. I mean, we're using Davos. But I like that we're bringing him back and making him the head because, like, really, like, they didn't leave a lot of enemies left for Danny after the last run through. You know, they've destroyed the hand. He'd beaten the Rands. I mean, he could fight the Triads and Madame Gao, a couple more. I think Madame Gao's gone or something. But, you know, it's really not going to matter. So on a hardcore line, there's not a lot of similarities to the original Iron Fist stuff in this first episode, and I'm not necessarily expecting them to. There's a lot of callbacks, references to the stuff with Misty and the Defenders, and has like half full. And obviously the episode ends after that with Davos and Joyce meeting up and talking about how they're basically going to take Danny down. And Danny, actually the very end of the episode is Danny just like practicing the Iron Fist on this like locker and just like going, yeah. But all around, I thought it was pretty good. First episode kept me interested, even while I was doing dishes. I'm like looking up while I'm like doing dishes while I'm doing this, but also watching. I had to rewind a couple times to make sure I didn't miss anything. Really, that's about as full an episode breakdown as I can think to give you right now. So I really do appreciate you. This has been Hardcore Casual, just kind of breaking down these episodes one at a time, going in depth, talking critically and enjoyably. Like, you know, there were some things that I didn't like, criticizing wise. For instance, some of the banter, even not banter, some of the dialogue, some of the movement of the camera. But I will say there's a lot of cinematic good stuff in there as well. Unfortunately, like first episode, there's not a lot of time for critical plot to develop for like scenes, but all around the flow of the scenes in the first episode was good. Even the crazy scene with the one chick, I forgot to mention that. There's one chick. I forgot to mention that. There's a scene at the end with that one chick who bumped into Danny just laughing and like freaking out and then laughing or crying or something. It's weird, man. And I don't know who this character is yet. I gotta go do more reading on Iron Fist myself, but man, I'm excited for this. I'm glad I'm taking the day off streaming for this. And we're gonna get through as many of these episodes as we can tonight because I'm excited. Iron Fist Season 2 is going great. Check in for the next episode on this part, I guess, act of, what would I call this? Series? Of Hardcore Casuals. Iron Fist Season 2. Yeah!